And when police arrived near South Cedar and Miller Road, they found 3 people in a car with gunshot wounds. A 17-year-old girl was pronounced dead at the scene. An 18-year-old female and 16-year-old boy with injuries were taken to a hospital, as well as a 10-week-old baby with a critical injury.
I saw the family afterwards. They came and my heart goes out to them.
A family is in shock tonight after a shooting in Lansing leaves a 31-year-old man dead and a 32-year-old man in critical condition. A large crowd quickly forming in the plaza where it all happened.
We don't believe that this was a random incident. We believe that it was isolated, and the public is not in danger at this point.
31-year-old Stephen Jackson was shot and killed, while 32-year-old Marcus Jackson, his brother, was shot and taken to the hospital in critical condition.
He worked hard to be a provider. My son had his children with him for a month on summer vacation, and all he did on Monday was bring them home to their mother, drop them off, met with his brother, and an hour later I get a phone call at work that your son has been shot. As a mother, you can't even imagine how my life has been altered by this altercation.
Tonight, Lansing police are investigating another murder. 17-year-old Alea Walker Travis was shot and killed on Wainwright Avenue last night.
It is the latest homicide in the city involving a teenager. Just last week, a 15-year-old boy was shot, and community activists say something needs to change.
In 2020, the FBI crime reporting data was released. It shows Lansing has the 9th highest violent crime rate in the country.
Leaders from the Lansing Police Department attended today's public safety meeting for Lansing City Council. They are trying to work together to figure out how to stop violent crime in the city, and they agree change is needed.
Yeah, Lauren, 21. That's the number of homicides in the city of Lansing just last year, the most in a single year in at least 3 decades, and those numbers seem to only be going up. So far in 2021, in just 4 months, Lansing has had 9 more homicides. That makes 17 in the last 6 months. Today I spoke with Lansing Mayor Andy Shore and Police Chief Darrell DeGreen to see what, if anything, can be done about this.
1 in January, 1 in February, 3 in March, 2 in April, and now 2 already in May. 9 people have died in Lansing by homicide this year, 8 with guns, and those in charge are frustrated.
This is totally unacceptable. It creates a sense of fear and instability in our communities, and certainly our staff here at the Lansing Police Department, we're taking it extremely serious.
What we're seeing is we're seeing stolen and unsecured guns that are contributing to the deaths of many of our communities.
12:26, a truck crashed into this tree behind me. The Lansing Police, Michigan State Police, and Ingham County Police were all on the scene. When they arrived, they found the 18-year-old driver was unresponsive. They then took them to a hospital, and on the way there, discovered the 18-year-old had a gunshot wound. Shortly after arriving to the hospital, the victim was pronounced deceased. Neighbors tell me they didn't want to be on camera, but they heard 1 gunshot and saw 2 people run away from the scene to a nearby apartment. Investigators are currently attempting to determine the sequence of events that led to the shooting.
I did month after month doing time in the box, but you can't move the hands or the time on the clock.
It's been a little over a week since Damon Johnson was killed here near Rotary Park. He was only 19, another teen dead to gun violence, which is unfortunately a trend that's getting worse here in the city of Lansing.
My son never made it home. Never made it home. I mean, I'm at a loss in my soul.
For these kids to do, these kids are 16, 17 years old. There's no after school programs. There's nothing for them to do. There's no opportunities for them but to put a gun in their hand. It's easier to put a gun in a person's hand to have them do some destructive stuff, but put a piece of paper in their hand so they can do something constructive.
To just general people about raising awareness of youth violence and gun crime and knife crime. And people say, yeah, but it's not really me, it's those types of young people or it's them. And in the back of my head, I'm getting a little bit angry, but frustration, but smiling at the same time. And I'm saying, yeah, but it is our problem. Until it happens to your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your husband, your wife, your partner, your neighbor, your colleague.
I'd like to see justice for my son
in the form of he'll be here, him, just being here, bringing them back, and that'll never happen. So I can't speak on gun violence for the simple fact that I don't believe that there will be any justice.
Before I get out of here, man, I want to say, free Uncle R. Kelly, that nigga ain't, no, he did it. That nigga, yeah, 6ix9ine told that already. That nigga did that shit. That nigga did it. But he fucked up. That nigga fucked up. See, because if it was me, when I get rich, I'm getting the best bitch money could buy. I don't give a fuck. Nobody thought my bitch gonna be bad. But I'm happy he getting 30 years though. I know it sounds fucked up, but he finally getting something over 13. That was fucked up. That was fucked up. That wasn't nice. I'm sorry.